Hello from Texas. Dano and I are in Fort Worth for the Fort Worth 1 and Fort Worth 3 regional games. We just wrapped up all the Sweet 16 games here in Fort Worth. 4 games down, 2 more to go with the Elite 8 coming tomorrow and Monday. I feel like we should rewind and start with Friday games because we've been through 2 games of Sweet 16 here. So Friday we had Notre Dame and Vanderbilt, followed by UConn and UNC. I think we started with the best of the 4 games.
Easily.
So far. Yeah.
Easily in Fort Worth.
Yeah, at least for the Fort Worth region, the best of the 4 games was that Notre Dame Vanderbilt game. Close game, came down to 2 shots at the buzzer, and I mean, just an incredible performance from Hannah Hidalgo. I think that just is the one and only headline from that game, pretty much.
Yeah, it might be one of the best single performances I've ever seen. A triple-double with steals. I mean, made big shots when it counted. They were kind of in control the entire game, which, they were 6-point underdogs. Vanderbilt a 2 seed, the first 2 seed to fall.
Second, Iowa.
Second,
yes.
Yeah. First 2 seed to fall in the Sweet 16. And my God, I think America is falling in love with Hannah Hidalgo. Just an absolute warrior. I tweeted a video of it, but just the catch on that final play, to go up over 2 defenders, mossed multiple people, then gets a dish. I just couldn't. I can't help but say Vanderbilt felt underwhelming. Wasn't the Vanderbilt that we had all season, but credit to Notre Dame because absolutely special.
Yeah, for Vanderbilt, I think Michaela Blake just had a really, really tough shooting game, especially in the first half. She got it going a little bit more in the second half, but they really struggled in the first half. And I think that when you have players like Hidalgo and Blake that you rely on so heavily, when one of them doesn't have a great game, it makes it really hard for you to win. And then Hidalgo, like we said, just not enough you can say about her performance. The steals, I think, is also it's the most, or ties for the most steals in, I think, the Sweet 16 or beyond in the tournament, the most for the regional round ever. Just many records were broken. I guess she also broke the single season, I think, steals record yesterday. So quite a bit of record breaking in that performance.
Yeah, I want to switch it up real quick. By the way, we were recording live at a Terry Black's barbecue in Fort Worth, Texas. We didn't even say howdy when we got on. So before we get into another game, Megan, what did you think of Terry Black's?
It was delicious. We had some brisket, some ribs, sausage, mac and cheese. It was delicious.
Yes, support Texas barbecue always. Okay, next to your Huskies.
Yeah, so UConn UNC second game of Friday in Fort Worth. A close game at the half, and then UConn rolled out to a 20-point lead in the third quarter and went on to win it. But I think a very defensive game. Neither team, UConn scored 63, 62, 42 for North Carolina, low scoring game. But I think you saw kind of both. These were 2 really good defensive teams, and it's obviously on display.
Yeah, I mean, UConn, have they given up 50 this tournament?
I don't think so. They have, yeah.
It's watching Sarah Strong in person is very special. Obviously, I think she just feels like she's at a different speed than everybody else, sees the game different than everybody else. But UConn as a unit defensively, like you're saying, is just, I mean, it feels like they're better than last year. I know we've had this conversation. Last year you had Paige Beckers, but they really peaked at the tournament. This team has just been really good all year.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say they're better than last year's team was. By the time last year's team got to the Final Four, I think it's hard to say this team is better than a team that had a lot of the same pieces and Paige Beckers on it. But they've just, leading up to the Final Four last year's UConn team, maybe this one has been all season long, and they've just been fantastic. And the defense especially held North Carolina to 42 points. That's the lowest total for a Sweet 16 game from UConn since 2016. That team was pretty good, if I remember correctly, in Brianna Stort's senior year. So pretty good company to be in. and the Huskies move on to the Elite Eight. So that it'll be UConn, Notre Dame, one of the best rivalries in the sport going into the Elite Eight here.
Yeah. What does Notre Dame need to do to have a fighting chance?
I think you start with what they did against Vanderbilt in that obviously Hannah Hidalgo steals, but their defense was just really disruptive. They were able to really take Vanderbilt out of their element and shake up their shots. Like you saw, Michaela Blake had a tough time scoring. I think Aubrey Galvin had a better game in the second half for Vanderbilt, but really struggled to start. So just taking the other team out of their element, disrupting them on defense, I think is going to be huge for Vanderbilt. And then I think they have to be good on the boards. I think UConn's got more size than Notre Dame, so they have a lot of great rebounding guards, Hannah Hidalgo being one of them. They've got to find a way to come up with wins on the glass, even though they're undersized.
Yeah, I mean, they're only playing 16.
Yeah.
So anyone gets in foul trouble, which whether Megan likes to admit it or not, UConn gets a lot of calls, and anyone getting in foul trouble will be detrimental, and it could get ugly fast, in my opinion. But I think the world is going to be rooting for little Hannah Hidalgo. Don't mean to say little, but you get it.
Yeah, and then on the UConn side, I think they'd probably like to see themselves shoot better than they did against North Carolina. It was pretty uncharacteristic offensive night for them. Their lowest point total of the season so far against North Carolina. So I think they'd like to see a few more of those shots go down in this Elite Eight game if they're trying to not be upset.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, moving on to Saturday, the day we are on today now. We had two more games in the Sweet 16. It started with Louisville, Michigan, and then Texas, Kentucky, neither of which was particularly close games today. Two kind of decided by double figure. Louisville, Michigan was close at the half, but then kind of blew out of wasn't close enough by the end of the second half, and the Texas, Kentucky really just quite frankly never close. Like Texas went up big in the beginning, and Kentucky never really was able to make a stride back.
Yeah, we went out last night and ended up at the same bar as the Louisville alumni party, and Jeff Waltz asked if he could take a picture of my dog, and I happily said yes. And then Ollie got a picture with him. Ollie's my dog, and I just thought it was a Cinderella, coincidence. Like, oh my gosh, these underdogs. Ollie loves them, and yeah, I don't know how a Jeff Waltz coach team gives up two 15-0 runs in the same game, but it happened in the second and the third quarter. Because it was 38-38 with 5 minutes to go in the half, and then next thing you know, it's 57-40, and we're going the fourth quarter knowing the result of the game. So, at least both regions have gotten a close game so far in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think for Louisville, Michigan, just like Olsen and Swartz have been so good for them.
Del Foss was a plus 33 today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those two, just like they've been so dependable for Michigan, and it was nothing different today. Like they both were in double figures. They both shot the ball decently, and they were just able to come out with the win. And I think maybe the area that Louisville has struggled with is they don't have that like one or two go-to players. It's a more of a like they need everyone to have a good game, and that just would be the case for the Cardinals today.
Yeah, but great for me. Got to watch Rory Harmon absolutely dominate. She had, I think, 9, 5, 5.
I think she got to 11 figures, so 11. Yeah. 11, 6, 6. I think 11.
No, 7.
Yeah, 7. There was 7.
But she had that all in the first half.
Yeah.
6 steals in the first half. I mean, her and Hidalgo are doing amazing things in the point guard position. Texas, when they're clicking, looks so scary.
Yeah, I think they just they were the only game in this set of 4, at least here in Fort Worth, where like it was decided from kind of the jump. It felt like a few minutes in, Texas was up large from Kentucky, and it was just like there was never really a threat of Kentucky coming back. I think you just saw that Texas was able to come out and disrupt Kentucky a ton with their defensive pressure. Kentucky turned the ball over, wasn't able to get good shots, was struggling to knock the shots down. And then Texas came out and just was able to run their stuff on offense, and then combined with the defense, even by the end of the fourth the first quarter, it wasn't a very close game.
Yep. I do, because I am biased. I do want to hear your thoughts on this Texas-Michigan matchup. In my heart of hearts, I obviously think that Texas will win handedly. I think Michigan's too young and Texas is just too physical, but maybe you can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Michigan, like you said, is young, but I think they've gotten to a point now where like it's mostly sophomores, and they're sophomores that have played in a lot of big games now. They played obviously in the tournament last year. We're on to the Elite Eight, so some tournament games this year. But Michigan also played a tough schedule this year in terms of like, yes, they played in the Big Ten, which was tough, but they played at UConn, they played Vanderbilt in the regular season. They played tough opponents, so they've been in these big matchups. And in hostile environments too, because I think that's going to be a piece of this as well. Like, we are in Texas. Like, there was very clearly a pro-Texas crowd today in the arena, and I expect it to be the same on Monday night. But you look at a Michigan team that's like gone to Mohegan Sun and played UConn, they know what that's like to play in as in conference games as well. So I think that helps them. And like we said earlier, like Olsen and Sports have been so good, but then on the flip side with Texas, I think Rory Harmon and Madison Booker have both been fantastic so far from them this tournament. And then I think Jordan as well, just her ability to hit the three, I think is what makes this Texas team look, I think, a lot better than they did last year at this time, which they still made the Final Four, but they were kind of lacking that 3-point shot. And I think you can't really say that about this team this year. And then I just think the experience of Rory Harmon at the point guard position just gives Texas the edge a little bit. I think when you have a point guard that's senior that's been in this situation 100 times, that really tends to help you late in March.
In the words of Ella Langley, she's choosing Texas.
You were waiting to lose that line work for the last 2 days.
Of course.
Yeah, Michigan, Texas on Monday night, UConn, Notre Dame tomorrow night here in Fort Worth. So 2 exciting Elite Eight matchups coming up. Obviously, we're on Saturday afternoon right now, so there's exciting basketball in Sacramento that's wrapping up as well. So we'll be back after the games on Monday to talk more immediate reactions to the Elite Eight. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.